Thank you, Lord Mayor. And I note that I have dispensation to speak in relationship to my wife's role as a primary school teacher in a Birmingham City Council-run school. So I second the amendment in my name and that of Councillor John Hunt. In doing so, I fully endorse the comments made by Councillor Hunt, and indeed many across this chamber, about the change of culture needed to tackle the sky-high rates of complaints we see about core council services, such as housing repairs and waste services, and the failure to use resident feedback to improve those services. Unless we do this, far too much of the money we are budgeting for today will continue to be wasted. I want to focus my remaining time on two specific elements of our amendment, which are important in themselves, but are also good examples of our approach to two key issues for this council: localisation and the route to zero. The first proposal, a modest one, is to provide £50,000 of funding to the Community Safety Partnership for the use of CCTV in antisocial behaviour problem areas. Now, while the Community Safety Partnership is a partnership between the police and the council, the funding for the ASB cameras it uses currently comes entirely from a grant by the Police and Crime Commissioner. In the current financial year, that amounted to just over £19,000. And that's not just for the cameras themselves, that also has to cover the cost of moving them at around £500 a time. Now, CCTV cameras are only going to be the answer in some cases, but to be spending just £19,000 a year across the whole of Birmingham seems a little optimistic, to put it kindly. Our proposal would allow more cameras to be brought and more moves of cameras we have. The need for this has been recently brought home to me when faced with regular vandalism of work being carried out to renew and expand a play area in Foxhollis Park in my ward. The option of cameras to monitor the site proved impossible to achieve. So instead, the contractor had to hire security guards round the clock to protect it. A huge waste of the project's limited resources. The link to the localisation agenda comes with the employment of ward-based ASB officers, with one having recently started in my ward along with one in North Edgbaston, and more to come. These officers provide the resource to do the necessary consultation before the cameras can be installed. Our measure makes sure there are enough cameras to enable them to utilise CCTV if this is the option that they and the local community think is best for a particular issue. And there's another reason to invest in new cameras at the moment, which is that with the new solar technology, enables the cameras to be installed anywhere, not just by a power source, such as a street light. And this takes me on to the second point I'd like to highlight from our amendment. This is an extra £5 million to invest in solar PV, mainly for roofs, but also to develop canopies on car parks. Solar PV represents not just one strand in the route to zero, but happily a major business opportunity too. The cost of solar PV has tumbled in recent years, and even for small-scale domestic roof installations is now well below 10p a unit, which compares with the government's subsidised price of electricity of 34p a unit, shortly to increase. For larger-scale installations, the cost is even lower, sometimes as low as 5p a unit. We have been cautious in our proposals, assuming only a domestic rate of return, which allows for significant extra installation costs for car park canopies. Even allowing for such costs, the investment will give a healthy return to the council that will provide funding for future years' priorities. And it will also insulate us against any future energy price spike. Such work would hardly be innovative. Portsmouth Council, Lib Dem controlled, has a portfolio of 390 rooftop sites, generating 6.65 megawatts, and in the past 3 years has added 1.1 megawatt hours of battery storage to maximise the benefit of the electricity these roofs produce. There are similar examples from Bedford, Tewkesbury and other councils around the country. Others are ahead of us, so now is the time to get on with this work at scale, and our budget provides the resources to allow this to be done. Lord Mayor, it is time to think big on the route to zero and think local on the delivery of services. I second our amendment.
Thank you.